Hey, what's up, guys? I am Dan here. Before I start this video, I want to make a few points. The first half of this video is going to be completely spoiler free, so it's going to be safe to watch for everyone. It doesn't matter if you have watched or not watched the movie yet. You're going to be safe watching the first half, but the second half I'm going to go more in depth in spoiler stuff. Second point: if you're an anime only watcher, I've got some bad news. You cannot watch this movie until Wano ends. So before I went to this movie, I heard that the movie was like not safe for anime only watchers. So the movie is like 2 hours long, and uh, most of the movie there was like no spoilers at all. It was completely safe to watch for everyone, and I was just kept like wondering like where are all these spoilers that were mentioned before, and it was until the last 20 minutes, just and all the spoilers just came in. It was just like spoiler, 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 just one after the other, and it was just as a as someone who's caught up to the manga, it was absolutely amazing. But I was hoping I could bring the anime only watchers some good news that they could watch the movie when it comes out. But I'm sorry, that's not the case. You're gonna have to wait until Wano ends. Third point, I just got home from the movie theater. It's like midnight here. I'm a bit sleepy. I'm still processing the movie, so this completely off the cuff is completely. I'm gonna try to give it as much structure as possible, but I can make any promises. So sorry in advance if it's too messy, and if you didn't like it, then I'm sorry. It's the best I can do for now. So for whatever reason, the movie came out in the Netherlands today, like tonight, like this was the premiere night, and in the US, it's not gonna be out until like October. So I'm not sure what's going on there because usually the release date goes like for Japan, the US, and then it goes to Europe. But this time we're like second in line. It came out in France already, but it was. I'm not complaining, but yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. The first, like the, I'm gonna try to split it into three parts, like the whole movie and reviewing it. The first part, it was pretty good. Um, it was very easy to follow. Like the first part was mostly what we saw in the trailers that dropped for the movie. Like if you have seen the trailers, then you know what I'm talking about because it was just like the concert and Luffy meeting Uta and that sort of stuff. It was all wholesome and nice, and yeah, it was done pretty well. There was not much to say there. There was some cool action, like I mean, of course it's One Piece, so it's not a spoiler to say that there's some action involving the Straw Hats at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, it was pretty dope. There was some fun matchups that I didn't expect, but I was 100% for it. Yeah, that was basically the first part, like the first half hour to 40 minutes. But then we get into the middle section, and that's where it gets very confusing for me because they start explaining certain stuff about the movie. Um, okay, so hold up. I'm gonna give it a little disclaimer because I'm gonna mention some things that were mentioned in the episodes, in the two episodes involving Uta, which came out I think like a month ago by now. So I am gonna mention what happened there. So if you haven't watched that either, then skip until then mute for a few seconds. Okay, so never mind. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not forget that. No spoilers. Um, so the in the middle section of this, they start explaining certain stuff, but it was like they were telling it instead of showing, which made it all the more confusing. Because in One Piece, you kind of have to show certain things. You can't just tell us this is what that thing does and just expect us to be able to follow it. Because for like a good half hour to 40 minutes, I had a very hard time keeping up with what was going on because they kept like explaining it and explaining it and explaining it, and it just didn't click for me. But until the later in the movie, they actually showed it, and that's where it clicked for me. That's when it all became clear and it was easy to follow, and I started actually enjoying the movie again because during the first half of the middle section, it was just that wasn't it for me. I didn't. That could have been done much better. Um, then we get to the second half of the. Jeez, I'm sorry. The second half of the middle part. So right before the climax, that's when things start getting more clear and easy to follow. It was just it started getting it started getting very clear, but I didn't feel it too much because I didn't feel any stakes at all because I was still processing what was going on. But yeah, and before I move on to the final part, obviously the movie is like the movie is heavily music based because Uta is a singer. If you didn't know, I mean, I'm sure you knew that already, especially if you watched the episodes. So there's like songs throughout the whole movie of Uta, and Jesus fuck can she sing, man! Holy, like I'm not one to listen to anime movies at all in my free time, with the exception for sometimes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure songs. But this song, like the songs that Uta sang in this movie, they were just they were amazing. The voice on that the voice on her was just insane. Like there were some calm like chill songs. They were nice to listen to, but they didn't do it for me too much. But it was when the more bombastic songs came up, like she just popped off, like she just went nuts, and it just made it so, yeah, it was just very amazing to listen to. As for the animation of the whole movie, it was nothing too special. It followed a bit of it was a bit of the Wano style that we have not right now, but it wasn't the movie isn't too isn't not it's not very have it's not this Jesus Christ, the movie is not very action packed compared to other One Piece movies. So there wasn't like too much like insane animation up until like the final part. And speaking of the final part, let's get into it. This is the part where everything just goes from 0 to 100, and there were some things that happened in I mean, the movie's called Red, so I assume you know that what Red refers to. If you don't, what Red refers to, then you might want to leave. But yeah, Red refers to Shanks, and there were the final part. There were things involving Shanks, and it was just mind blowing. So like, I'm from the Netherlands. Like I live in the Netherlands, and our like movie theater culture is like you have to be very quiet. Like cheering is very like you cheering is very is not it's not done here. Like cheering during the movie or whatever, or like talking throughout it. It just it's unacceptable. But during this movie, like I mean, of course you're allowed to laugh during a funny scene, but other than that, you have to be very quiet. But this movie was an exception because every time something happened, like something hype happened, like everyone just blew up, and it was like the first time it happened, it was kind of funny, but then I just got into it, and it was just really really fucking hype. And what do I what else can I say that's not a spoiler? How would I rate it? I don't think it's the best One Piece movie. I think Strong World, Film Z, and Stampede are no. So Strong World, and Film Z are still better in my opinion. But it's still this movie is still very enjoyable to watch. If I compare it to the previous movie, Stampede was like from start to finish. It was like non-stop action and fan service, and it was just constant hype. But this one is like it starts very low, like constantly very low. It had some fun spikes of like comedy and action, but it was until the very end, until when just shit goes from 0 to 100,000, and it just. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the spoiler-free section. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. I'm not the greatest at like speaking off the cuff, like as like with like oh jeez for like reviews and stuff. So I hope I hope it was easier for you to follow this video than it was for me to follow, like the explanations in the movie. But yeah, for the spoiler free people, I'm gonna see you next Friday for One Piece, for the One Piece chapter. All right, the spoiler stuff. Okay, where do I even start? So I've already. Oh man, my. it's. I'm sorry, guys. It feels like I'm about to sneeze, but it's not coming out. And yeah, I'm sorry if I keep pinching my nose. Um, so I've already like broken down like the structure of the movie, the like being like the first part being good, the middle part being and the finale being insane. The first part of the movie was like it started with the Straw Hats going to Uta's concert, and Luffy meeting Uta and revealing that Shanks is her dad, and it was all fun and games. Everyone's chilling, having fun, and then out of nowhere, some pirates start attacking, and of course you get your typical Straw Hats group fights. That's pretty much, I think it's been done in every One Piece movie. And this one was just extra more fun to me because it had like Frankie fighting Oven, which is a matchup I did not expect at all, and I was 100% for it. But it wasn't a full blown fight. It was just a couple of just them exchanging clashes, but it was still very very fun to watch. Um, but yeah, so if you watch like the two episodes that came out of Uta and Luffy, like they were very supportive of each other's dreams, and it was hinted towards that Shanks destroying Elegia. That's what the island is called. So that the episodes portrayed Shanks to be like evil, and I had my doubts, but I did kind of believe it because there was because of the events that happened in the manga, there was like a chance that Shanks may not be who he is. But after this movie, there's just no doubt about it anymore. Like Shanks is straight up a good guy. Like the whole like the like mainly Shanks and Beckman. Wow. So yeah, the man, I'm starting to ramble right now. So yeah, if you watch those two episodes, then you see that like Luffy and Uta were very supportive of their dreams, of each other's dreams, and but now that like 20 years later, or however long that was, um, Uta suddenly started hating pirates because Shanks, quote unquote, destroyed that village and like plundered the whole island, which well, I mean, spoiler alert, they didn't. Which I kind of figured out that yeah, I kind of figured that out before they revealed it that Shanks didn't do it. Um. Okay, hold up. Let me clear my mind for a bit. Um. Oh so it was back to Luffy and Uta. So the, there's this part in the movie where like Luffy and Uta are just like chilling with the Straw Hats. Luffy's like making like barbecuing some meat, and she asks Luffy like, "So what are you doing nowadays?" And he tells her, "Well, I'm a pirate." And she just like scoffs at it and says like, "Yeah, you should stop that." And the like the whole all of the Straw Hats, they were like before that they were really like fangirling for and simping for Uta until she said that, which was really cool to see. But like even Usopp was like, don't tell that to Luffy. That's not gonna go well. So like, yeah, it was fun. It was really fun to see that loyalty still existing. Like doesn't matter how big fans they were of Uta, they're still ride or die for Luffy. So after she tells him that, Luffy just he doesn't take her seriously. He's like, yeah, it was fun meeting you again. I'm gonna go sleep on the sunny, and that's where they start going south, and Uta just starts going full tyrannical and doing like her own version of the infinite Tsukiyomi. She basically puts everyone to sleep, and they're all sharing the same dream, and that's the part that like was hard to follow because basically the everyone was asleep dreaming the same dream, but like the way the movie explained it, it just took way too long to make it clear for me and to actually visualize it properly. Uh, okay, okay, this is very difficult, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard here. Um, so yeah, the whole middle section is like nothing but build up, trying to set things up to break out of the dream because that's the whole goal of the dream, to break the whole goal of the movie to break out of Uta's dream powers, and so they make whole plans for it, and the Straw Hats end up protecting Robin, who's deciphering how to defeat Uta and escape the dream world. Uh, in the meantime, you had the Straw Hats fighting some stone statues. That was kind of weird. Like, it was just the Straw Hats like launching attacks, and which did nothing. And yeah, it was basically just stalling time. Wasn't too big of a fan of that part of them fighting those three big statues. But then we arrive at the final section. That's where starts going. Where starts going down. So Luffy faces Uta, and he convinces her that Shanks is gonna come because there's, like he said in the trailer, there's no way he's gonna let his daughter do what he did, what she's doing right now, and get away with it. Or basically, just not let her stoop to that level, and like letting her do all those things to all those people. And she's like, "Nah, he's a pirate. He doesn't give a shit. He's not gonna come." And then, and that so that yeah, so this is gonna be really hard to explain because Luffy and Uta are having this conversation in the dream world, and in the real world where everyone is awake, suddenly Shanks appears, and I don't know why, but that moment just felt so unreal. Like Shanks was right there on screen. I was looking at him, and I was like, "Is that?" Like, I couldn't believe that it was actually. Jesus fuck! After 25 years, like we finally get to see so much of him, and it was just insane. And when so she was about to stab Luffy to death, and then you see like a hand grabbing her, and it was like, "Is that Shanks? Is that Shanks?" And it switched to the camera, and you see like this huge frame of Shanks, and the whole theater just fucking explodes into one huge like just cheering. Um, and it was that was the first cheer of the movie, and I was laughing at the same time, but also couldn't believe it. It was like it was very weird. Not weird. It was it felt surreal. That's yeah. It felt very surreal to like see Shanks like that, and then suddenly Uta, she starts making the sleeping people attack the red hair pirates, and Shanks and Beckman, they give the command to their crew to not attack the civilians. So like, there's one point where one of the crew members of Shanks, he starts charging like some sort of fire blast, and Beckham tells him, "Do not fucking fire that. You're gonna take that beating, even if it kills you. You're not gonna hurt those people." That was so fucking dope. And like at one moment, those sleeping civilians, they start attacking, and they just start like grabbing Shanks, and there was one civilian just beating the shit out of Shanks, and he was just standing there and eating, and starting to bleed, and he was just so raw, and and after that, Uta, she summons her ultimate like demon thingy, whatever. I'm not gonna go into detail to explaining what that was, but she basically summons her ultimate like power, which can only be defeated if you attack it from like from both the dream world and from the real world. So in the dream world, you have the Straw Hats, you have Law, you have some of the big vampires like Oven, and in the real world, you had the red hair pirates, who shit. So before that, the Marines arrive, and like you had the red hair pirates, they were taking a beating, refusing to attack the civilians, and suddenly you had like the Marines hiding, using the sleeping civilians as shields and shooting the walking civilians. And Shanks was like, "Really? you're gonna shoot the civilians you're supposed to protect, and then fucking Kizaru says, "Well, that's the price you have to pay for justice." So yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, just fucking start shooting the civilians to protect the powerful. That's how it always is. And then he jumps up and he does like that one move that like the light. I call it the light minigun, like where he shoots all these light bullets. And then Shanks just jumps up. He blocks everything with one swipe, and he just like and he just points his sword to Kizaru's throat, and he's like immediately, okay. So with one like holy shit, that was so hyped. Like he immediately stopped Kizaru in his tracks, and then a few seconds later, he starts shooting again, and fucking Kizaru. Oh no, one of the Marines starts shooting again, and Beckman. You see him just catch the bullets and just throw it back at the dude. It was insane to see. Like Beckman and Shanks was like they were the highlight of this movie, even though they were like only in the final part of the movie. And so back to Uta's final attack. You have to attack it from within the dream world and within the real world at the exact same spots at the same time. So both sides they were like were throwing attacks, and it just didn't work. And out of nowhere, fucking Katakuri comes, and he tells Shanks how like basically tells Shanks like he's able to sense everyone through the dimension. And Shanks like casually, you're not the only one who has observation haki. And then just the whole crowd just fucking explodes again. And then the coolest thing happened. You had Usopp and Yasopp. They sense each other. So their observation haki connected. Well, they're like connected with each other, and both of them started coordinating all the attacks. So they go with the bottom right part. And you had like a group of a part of each group attacking that part. They go to the left part, then to the middle part. And this is the part where all the spoilers came in, because out of nowhere we had like Zoro using Ashura, which he had just used recently against Kaido. You had Sanji using Ifrit Janbe, Robin using her. It was not Demonio Fleur. She didn't show that, but the one before that, like the giant human Robin behind her. She used that one. And then the best part of the movie came for me, because then Luffy starts attacking. He goes into Gear 4th, and he starts just attacking the monster, and it didn't work. Then he goes into Snake Man, and he uses like his speed to attack the final part that him and Shanks simultaneously had to attack. Like they both kind of got blocked, and then you had this like split screen of like Luffy in the dream world and Shanks in the real world, and Luffy going from Snake Man into Gear 5th, and just seeing that, like they had this, oh man, how do I explain it? Like, you had Luffy floating in like in the air, and Shanks floating in the air, and then like Luffy goes into Gear 5th, and I just started tearing up a bit, because it was there was just something about that. Like the whole crowd just started cheering again, and seeing Luffy in Gear 5th just that was just fucking magical. And yeah, Shanks has apparently fire powers. So you had Luffy going into Gear 5th, and Shanks raising his sword and just creating a fuck ton of fire on his sword, as if he was Kinemon. But I doubt that's what really is happening. And they both simultaneously launch the attack, and they defeat the monster. So there's another thing. So that's basically how they win the fight. But before, let's go back to the middle of the movie. It was revealed that Uta was eating a certain type of mushroom, which like kept her awake, so she wouldn't sleep. But in exchange, she would die, and she had only 2 hours to live. And Shanks came in with the antidote for that, and she refused to take it. She like broke the antidote, and she started singing to wake everyone up. And then, okay, so it was left open for interpretation, because she started after she saved everyone. She then was laying in Shanks' arms. Well, in Shanks' arm, he only has one. In Shanks' arm, and she started singing as if she were on her deathbed. And I don't remember. Maybe I didn't pay attention, but I think she didn't take any antidote at all. That's what I'm going for, and I'm thinking that's her final song. So then you have after that, Luffy wakes up all sad, and I think even saw a tear flowing from his eye. Um, and then Shanks, he didn't crack a single smile after that. And then you had the silhouette of the red hair pirates walking away and carrying Shanks carrying Uta, uh, and then sailing away. And then you had the Straw Hats also sailing away. Luffy just waking up and asking Zoro, "Where's Uta and Shanks?" And he points to them at the ship. And you see Luffy, and yeah, then you have the final scene. Luffy and Shanks just sort of looking at each other from like a long distance, but neither of them smile, which is very, which leads me to believe that Uta actually died. Which, if that's the case, then the movie didn't do a very great job at like conveying that, because it left it open for interpretation. And yeah, if she was alive, then Shanks would definitely crack a smile, and Luffy too. But it's like both of them, like both Luffy and Shanks are known for smiling, like having like this friendly, like cheerful smile when, especially when Shanks thinks about Luffy or sees Luffy. But this time they just kept a serious frown, and there wasn't a single smile. Like it just left me a bit uneasy. But yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna rewatch this movie because I fucked up and I accidentally ordered a second ticket before this one, which is for next Saturday. And I'm gonna watch it in IMAX because this one was just a regular theater. So hopefully I can actually pick up more on what happened. Uh, Maybe pay more attention, or because this time it was. I I think the last like in the last few after Luffy and Shanks did their thing, which got me absolutely hyped. It was so hard to focus on the movie. Like I think I missed a crucial scene where Uta maybe got saved, but I'm thinking I missed it, which is why I'm thinking that Uta is probably dead, and which explains why Luffy and Shanks didn't like crack a single smile at the end, which they usually do when they see each other or when they think about each other. But yeah, overall, I would rate the movie. It's really hard because overall, like I would give it an 8 out of 10. But the final 20 minutes were so insanely hype, and especially the last final scene, like of not the final scene, but like the climax of Luffy and Shanks standing next to each other and performing the last attack. That was such a high peak that I want to give it a 9 out of 10, just because of that the whole coordination between Yasop and Usopp, and just it ending in Luffy and Shanks next to each other fighting. Okay, yeah. So you know what? Because of that finale, just because of that climax, I'm gonna leave it at 9 out of 10. So yeah, I hope this video wasn't too messy. I'm not gonna edit it at all. I'm just gonna go straight upload it immediately. I'm gonna make a quick thumbnail and go straight to sleep because I'm pretty tired. I got woken up pretty early this morning, even though it's my vacation. But yeah, I'm gonna see you guys next Friday for One Piece manga. Yeah, once again, I really hope you didn't mind me rambling too much, or I hope I didn't ramble too much. And if I did, I hope you don't mind too much. But yeah, drop a like if you like the video, and let me know what you think if you saw the movie in the comments, and definitely subscribe, of course. And I'll see you guys on Friday. See ya.